This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, we're kicking off hour 2 of this Memorial Day edition of Money Moves. Stormy Buonantony, Matt Brown with you. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll have VSiN's own Greg Peterson break down some of the Major League Baseball card today. Memorial Day, obviously. Big day for baseball, and you've got some action going right now, or should we say, like, cash it?
Dunzo.
Feels
it's
good.
already in there. Yeah. Laboratory there for the Cardinals. Gave up 3 runs early to the Brewers, but when they're not just hitting him all over the yard, he's striking them out. So we have gotten over on the 4.5 at plus money already here in the third inning. So that feels pretty good. He's going up against Jacob Misiorowski, who, by the way, is now your third shot in the NL for Cy Young. And this dude, we said
5-1-ish.
The stats back it up, right? I mean, like, seriously, this is like the advanced stats back it up. Here's his first inning, just to kind of give you what these guys are going up against here. 103, 103, 103, 103, 103, 103, 102, 101, 103, 103, 97 because it was a slider. 102, and then 91 mile an hour curveball.
That's awesome.
Curveball at 91. That's what these guys are trying to hit in there. And they were also saying, by the way, he's super tall. You can see, right? So it's 103, but by the time he lets go of the ball, it's basically like 4 feet from you.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, you have zero time to hit these pitches. So hopefully he stays healthy. We know these guys that throw hard, sometimes we deal with arm injuries and stuff like that, but it'll be fun while we've got him.
Brew Crew up 3-0 as we just got through 3. Every time that you said, how do you say the other pitcher's name?
Laboratory.
Every time you say it, it sounds like Dexter's Laboratory to me. Like, I wanted to make sure I heard you say it one more time. White Sox up 3-1 over Minnesota. We're scoreless, and Orioles Rays in the top of 6 and tied at 1 for Cubs Pirates right now in the bottom of the 5th with 1 out. So we'll keep tabs on all of this as we go. You do have one more play, though, in Major League Baseball we can hit real quickly if you like.
Yes, I am playing the Guardians to not bat in the bottom of the 9th inning. So this is a play that me and Mike Simon here on the network have started to play a bunch. And it's basically when you like a big favorite, but you'd like to try to reduce some of the juice on it. Don't like to play run lines on home teams. As we know, if you're tied, you score 1, the game's over. So there's no point in scoring additional. So I don't like to play run lines on home teams, but for teams where I do believe that they can kind of get to the starter a little bit and maybe we don't have to even worry about the 9th inning or something like that. This takes the juice, by the way, down. Cleveland's about minus 170 out there in the market, right? 168, 169, 170, something like that. And takes it all the way down to minus 125 as this Cleveland team goes up against Zach Littell. Cleveland's likely to roll out 8 or 9 lefties in this one against Zach Littell. And the reason that we are going to back this Guardians team is Zach Littell against lefties on the season so far. It is a 7.23 ERA, and you're like, oh my gosh, but what about the expected? It's got to be better than that, right? No, it's 9.46. It's actually, he's gotten lucky against lefties. Yeah. He's actually gotten lucky so far against lefties. And so this is like I said, team's going to roll out either 8 or 9 against him today. So give me the Guardians to not bat in the bottom of the 9th inning.
They're on a nice little run here, too. Won 14 of their last 18 games. And that is a game we'll preview a little bit more at length when Greg Peterson joins the program. One of his plays that he's got coming up. First pitch in that one, 3:10 Pacific, 6:10 Eastern, coming up a little bit later on. I also wanted to real quickly react a little bit to some of the conversation we had with Danny Cunningham in the last segment. Covers the Cavs for Locked On Cavs, a number of different organizations, the Inside Shot among them as well. But he repeatedly, I feel like every question that we asked ended up circling back in some way, shape, or form to the Cavs just being fatigued at this point. And I mentioned they've played 4 more games than the Knicks have at this point. Grueling, specifically last series against Detroit, who we know how physical they are. But we talked about, if they do have bursts, it will be early. So should we be targeting a Cavs first quarter or a Cavs first half? I mean, even the games over the weekend, right? We see them play a decent first half before the wheels kind of fall off a little bit. Or do you look kind of the opposite reaction of that, which is the Knicks have been so dominant. We told you the stats for their closeout games and the margin of victory that they have won by 30 plus points in both of them to this point. Do you look at some alts maybe on the Knicks if you think the Cavs are out of gas?
Yeah, and I mean, actually really made me feel good about just the under on the Mitchell prop, right? I mean,
Sure.
Hearing him say that he just actually thinks what's wrong with Donovan Mitchell is that he's tired. He's like, I just think that he's tired. I don't think that he is, I don't think that he's got any juice left in the tank. And like we said, I mean, we're looking here And you go back to May the 13th in the Pistons series, and Donovan Mitchell has gotten over this 26.5 point prop one time since then. And it's not because of lack of volume. I mean, he's shooting over 20 times a game in all these games, and he's just not been able to get there. And if we truly believe, and this is a guy that follows him as much as anyone, as close as anybody, that fatigue is the factor for all of this, then even more reason for me to kind of back that. And I even mentioned the whole deal. And this is a real thing, too, when you try to handicap these, what potentially could be closeout games, where if I believe the Knicks win, which I do, then it's probably equals a few fewer minutes as well for Donovan Mitchell, so long as the game isn't like super, super close there, because they will do the whole little farewell thing or whatever, pull him off the court 90 seconds or whatever, left in the game, so the fans can do the little clap thing and high five him or whatever. Maybe they'll boo him. Maybe they won't do it. Maybe they won't do it. They're getting swept. Maybe they won't give him. Maybe they play him till the bitter end so they don't get booed whenever he takes them off the court.
So wrong. But
neither here nor there. Under 26.5 feels a lot better for me now, though, in that one.
Okay. I don't have a play tonight, but now the conversation kind of got me thinking that maybe I could.
I like your thought about the alts, though. If I was going to play, I would only
get
be
some
looking
plus money on it.
I would only be looking alts for the Knicks. It doesn't seem like a scrappy type deal here. It's like either Cleveland, like you said, either you make some extra shots here and you just win this game and you win it, or it's they don't fall and they keep not falling. They haven't fallen, the first three games. They keep not falling, and then boom, now you're looking up and the Knicks are 17 up in the fourth quarter.
I'm trying to look at some of these. If we go the Knicks minus 5.5 is plus 140.
And you're only asking for 3 points.
Yeah. So just a thought process. Do your own exercise and see how you see it. Also, last night, so we recapped it a touch, but the way that things transpired last night with San Antonio getting the response win the way that they did, Victor Wembanyama, who you mentioned, when we look ahead in the next couple years, is he going to be the standalone GOAT with what he's done? He had 33 last night, 22 in the first half, 8 boards, 5 assists, 3 blocks. We also mentioned that 40-foot shot at halftime at the buzzer, just ridiculous. The plus minus numbers in this series with and without him on the court are pretty staggering. Plus 50 in the 156 minutes he's out there, minus 46 in the 46 he's on the bench. Is there a bigger impact player right now than Victor Wembanyama and what he brings to this team?
And I want to bring up the half court shot, because we say it in one of those things where it's just like, oh, that was kind of cool to see the big guy pull up and nail it. I'm listening to NBA Radar. 2 different former NBA players go, you guys don't even know. Those things let the air out of the balloon. Eddie Johnson was talking about it. He was like, I vividly remember us really struggling and being down. He's like, I don't remember what team we were playing or something. He's like, and then somebody threw up a half court shot and it went in. And he's like, and then we beat the hell out of that team in the second half. It was just, it's just this weird deal that you're just kind of like, there's no way that's going in. And you see it go in and you're like, oh my God, are you serious? Whatever. And 2 different guys talking about how those type of shots are kind of just glossed over, but being on the court for whatever reason, it was just deflating.
It's kind of like, too, how we see Nikola Jokic sometimes just do this throwaway move and then somehow the ball goes in. You're like, how does he do that? But he makes it all look so easy. That's what I think when I watch Victor Wembanyama do things. He makes the impossible look easy at times. And this team as a whole, what they've been able to do, so impressive against the defending champs, a team that's been odds on to win the NBA Finals for how long now. He was talking after the game about kind of the workman-like mentality this team has right now.
We didn't do nothing unexpected, but the truth is that we had never been in this kind of situation before. It was our first deficit in a playoff series, and we just responded. But it was nothing amazing. It wasn't magic. We just did what we needed to do, and the series is far from over. We got 6 more wins before we can rest.
I love it.
He is, again, I want to remind people, this human being is 7'4", 235 pounds. He is only 22 years old. He's only 22 years old and does not turn 23 until January. He is 22 and a half or whatever. He's not even close to being 23 years old. The dude's 22 years old, and he's doing this in the NBA right now.
It's so easy to forget because of how he looks. I told JVT after game 1, when you had Caruso down low, he's making Alex Caruso look like a toddler. It's ridiculous.
The pregame stuff, last night, they're sitting in the chair, so obviously they're even lower because they're sitting in the chairs. Then he's standing behind in he's not even in the frame, all the way in the frame, because like the way that they had to frame the cameras and stuff, and like his head is still like out of the frame because of where they are with all of this, and still has handles, can shoot threes, can pass if he needs to. Obviously the athleticism on the defensive side of the ball. And like, we brought this up earlier, but it's worth saying again. It's not just the counting stats with the blocks as well. Like, altering shots is as good as a block. It's just not a counting stat,
Yeah.
And like if you make a person have to shoot awkwardly and you make a person have to do something they don't want to do, that is as important as blocking a shot. And it's just, and he does that. I mean, almost not every time down the court, but a lot of times down the court.
I know we have to go to break, but it's a best of 3 now. And given the success that San Antonio has been able to have, not only in this series, but in the regular season, does minus 220 seem a little steep to you on the series for OKC still?
Quite.
Yeah?
Quite.
Right?
I'll admit, I'm a Spurs
Okay.
fan. I'm a Spurs
You're
fan.
getting plus 180 on San Antonio if you think they can win it. We talked a lot of baseball today, and rightfully so. But if you're looking for that little extra information on a daily basis, you got to check out the VSiN Daily Diamond right now. Sharp daily betting, baseball insight all season long. Former MLB pitcher Jensen Lewis and our guy Dave Ross are breaking it down: lines, totals, props, futures markets as well. You can subscribe to the VSiN Daily Diamond wherever you get your podcasts. While you're there, search all the good stuff. You can find money moves where you get your podcast, long shots. Check out Matt Brown and the crew. We're going to talk some golf this week with you on the show.
It's free, by the way. You just hit the subscribe button. All of our podcasts are free.
100%.
Cost you nothing. Not like all these other subscriptions you got to have. Boom.
That's another thing. That is a great segue, because tweet at us, at Storm Bonatoni, at Matt Brown M2. Like, why do we have to have a subscription to
my flashlight,
everything right now?
Why does my calculator need it?
And do you have some in that you need to go check your bank statements to eliminate? Because I know I do.
Hey, let me get your attention real quick, podcast listeners. I've got something for you that feels too good to be true. First, credit where credit is due. If you're listening to this podcast, you're already leveling up your betting game. You're riding along with our best bets and top angles. And when there's a good game on, you're probably getting involved with a few props and alt markets as well. But there's one more layer if you really want to step things up, and that's VSiN Pro. Yeah, I've mentioned it before, but things are only getting better for our pro subscribers. We just rolled out our MLB prop projections, breaking down some of the best edges across strikeouts, hits, home runs, and more. And that's on top of everything else pro subscribers already get, including public betting splits, expert picks, and betting guides across the sports calendar. If you haven't tried it yet, stop sleeping on it. You can get your first month for just $9.99 or save big with promo code POD26 on an annual subscription. Hit the link in the description and start cashing in with VSiN Pro. All right, now back to the show.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Busy day here on Money Moves, live from downtown Las Vegas Circa Resort and Casino. Speaking of Circa, the 2026 football contest open now, and you don't have to live here in Vegas to play. After your required in-person registration, Winner Circle Proxy can handle the rest, your weekly submission, so that you can make your picks from anywhere in the country. Winner Circle Proxy, VSiN's preferred proxy service. One trip to Vegas, play all season long from anywhere. Schedule your appointment now at winnercircleproxy.com.
The updated numbers, we have 29 in Circa Million signed up here on Memorial Day. We have 102 in Survivor, and then the one Grandissimo entry that is in right now. 40 to meet the guarantee over in Grandissimo, the $100,000 buy-in, and we'll need another 9,900 to meet the we'll need 19,000. I mean,
So
19,900.
It's one of those things. So for anybody who doesn't know, as Matt just laid out there, Grandissimo is Circa Survivor, but it's the even higher stakes version, $100,000 entry fee versus the $1,000 to enter the standard Circa Survivor contest. Circa Millions is the 5 ATS plays that you make each and every week throughout the course of the season. So you play that throughout the year. There are quarterly prizes, whether you're doing really well or really bad, because there's a booby prize as well for each of those. But it's a super fun thing, and that we're already at that point talking about the NFL is kind of crazy to me.
Have you decided what you're going to do this year? What the strategy is going to be? How many entries? It'll be you and your dad for sure.
Yeah, so my dad and I will
do
one.
I was going to say at least one.
We'll do a show one, JVT and I will, and then do I want to have my own where I just don't tell anybody what I do, and I just kind of, once I lose, I'll tell everybody that I made another donation, but until then I'll just kind of like play it by myself. I don't know. That's what I might do it that way. But last year, I just got so mad at myself because I talked myself out of things because we would have certain conversations on the show. And then one of my favorite Survivor entries, the way that we laid it out, I lost betting against my own team, and it was a whole thing. So yeah, that's the worst way to go out. The worst way to go out.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
Do you know what
brutal.
you're doing?
I did. So I did 6 on my own last year, and then I shared 2. I made it to Thanksgiving, so.
Which was just a bloodbath again.
Yeah.
It's so hard to, and this year's Thanksgiving looks absurd.
Yeah, and Christmas. Like it
For
is.
sure.
That's why I'm like looking at that schedule. If I honestly think that I can make any sort of run, I need to understand that I need to be at Thanksgiving with at least 2 entries, and so that I can just play both sides of the thing. Like so, yeah. I mean, maybe I'll go up to 8 on my own and then 2 splits or whatever, or something like that, or whatever. But yeah, it is so. Every year, it's like it comes around and you just think that there's that glimmer of hope that you might actually do. It's so stupid. It's so absurd.
Yeah. I say it every time we bring up this conversation. You think that it should be so simple, and you think you're so smart with the plan that you make out, and let's just say that plan has not come together for me thus far.
the Thanksgiving. Look, I get to Thanksgiving. I pick a 7-point favorite. I'm like, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win this thing.
Speaking of holidays, real quickly, with it being Memorial Day, our producer Justin Emery did a poll of all of our hosts across the network, asking their best and favorite Memorial Day cookout must-haves, and some of the selections are pretty good. I think Jensen Lewis had my favorite of the group, though. He went marinated ribeye, bacon mac and cheese, and jalapeno poppers.
Well,
that would not have been on my list.
Well, he avoided anything with salad in it, which is good because everyone's like going with this whole pasta or macaroni salad, which we know.
I love a mac salad, but it has to be inside, nice and cold. We cannot be out. I don't like the that kind of stuff outside sitting in the heat.
So
maybe it's a Vegas thing.
I just don't like these mayonnaise bombs, and that's all they are.
Well, you're too healthy. I'm not brown. I'm so skinny.
It's just mayonnaise is disgusting, and so I just don't like these.
Mayonnaise is a delight.
I don't like
do you
these
remember
mayonnaise
that
bombs.
Bets and Consequences where you had to eat straight mayonnaise?
Yeah, that was disgusting. Yeah, I mean, like, but mine would be pretty boring. Mine would be like burgers. It'd be like burgers.
Basic. Dustin Sweetelson had ribs on there, which I am very on board with. He said slaw dogs, which I went back and forth with for a second because you think about, like, again, the heat. If the slaw is like nasty and like overheated on it, but if you get like really fresh coleslaw on top of the hot dog, that would be pretty fire in my opinion.
You know, none of these people said sports. They just have it's all like we're a sports betting network because I mean they went with beer, which is not food.
No one said baseball.
Yeah, no one said baseball. Yeah, no one said baseball and whatever. Like this is like all right.
I'm
whatever.
surprised not every single person had ice cold beer though. And Tim specifically said very cold beer, not ice cold beer. So he of course he had to go.
So
rogue.
he's okay with, like you're saying, with it's been sitting out a little bit too long. Maybe. So it's like, hey man, is that an ice cold beer? He's like, no, it's very cold.
Get it checked, brother.
It's not ice cold. It's very cold. Can I talk hockey with you? Can I ask you some questions? All right. So we got the game. Obviously, this evening, currently right now, minus 140, the best price if you're not in a circle market. You're going to get on Carolina, and the big national books plus 120, the best number. You're going to get on Montreal. We are sitting a flat 6 at most places, though there are a couple of juiced 5.5s as well. Okay, so we shift back to Montreal.
Yes.
How do you feel about the Canadiens at home here, getting back onto their home ice?
So I think part of why you're seeing as much support toward Carolina as you are is because of the struggles Montreal has had on home ice to this point. They're 2-4 at the Bell Center in the postseason. I will say, though, both of their wins have been in Game 3s, that first game of a series where they get to play on their home ice. But that venue in particular is very interesting to me because of the effect that it does have on the home team, right? Where there is all this hysteria and fanfare, and it's crazy and it's fun and it can be super energizing. But because of the pressure in a market like that too, I think if Carolina or whatever team it is gets up early or scores an early goal, it turns from we're energizing you to that pressure is now mounting more and more in the building and you feel more unstable. And you've heard a lot of the players talk about it this week, like Nick Suzuki in particular, mentioning that offensively, it just has felt like sometimes at home, they try to do too much to score offensively. And sometimes when you're trying to do too much, you're grabbing the stick a little bit too tight and you're playing not within yourself anymore. So I don't know if that will happen to them again today. I just do think that that could be potentially part of the support here for Carolina, especially being able to pull out the Game 2 win and kind of get that monkey off of their back.
So we had low-scoring games in the Western Conference Final, and then we get the scoring bonanza last night. This is sitting 5.5 at some books, flat 6 at others. What from a scoring perspective do you think?
I lean under in this one just because I think Carolina largely is going to dictate, and they are the more defensive team. They are the tighter, they're bigger on the forecheck, all of those things. Montreal, we saw in game 1, they had a really strong ability of being able to get through the neutral zone and break through those forecheck attempts. They couldn't do that in game 2. And I think that largely in game 1 had to do with Carolina's rust. They had more time off than we've ever seen a team in the National Hockey League have at this point in the postseason. And so I feel like now they're going to play more to their game. They're going to play more to their structure. The under's 11-2 in Carolina's last 13 games. They themselves, too, are not a high-scoring bunch, right? They try to take the lead and then just hang on to it the rest of the way. They've scored 2 or fewer goals in regulation, 6 of their last 8 in this series with Montreal. They're averaging fewer than 3 goals per game in the playoffs at this point. Montreal, too, giving up 2 or fewer in regulation each of their last 3. Under 12-5, their last 17 games as a dog. There are a lot of trends, I think, that fall toward the under in addition to just the general style that I think we're going to get here. Plus, another thing for Montreal is I thought that the special teams battle here was going to be really interesting because Carolina's power play isn't anything to write home about. Montreal's penalty kill isn't good either. So that kind of washes each other out. And then you have a Montreal power play that's really, really good and a Carolina Hurricanes penalty kill that is the best in the playoffs as well. And they have won that battle to this point, which shows me, again, just looking more at the defensive structure side of this thing, that Carolina has an edge there. Which I think they'll dictate pace a little bit more and break up things for Montreal and continue to play well on the PK.
So we talk about it a ton in football because
I do not like that price for Carolina, though. I'm not playing Carolina today specifically because of that price. Montreal, from a value standpoint, it is there.
So we talk about a lot in football because obviously crowd noise can get into calling plays, calling audibles, different things like that, right? They actually can affect an opposing team, right? How much do you weigh in home ice into your handicapping?
I think the only thing, we have seen so far in this postseason, home ice has really largely not mattered. Where it does come into account is being able to dictate matchups. If you're the home team, that's the only real thing is last change. What I'd be more concerned about with Montreal is just the pressure of that venue, like I mentioned earlier. So I don't incorporate home ice nearly as much as I think other people do. To go back to what I said earlier, though, on the price for Montreal, I think this game is more of a coin flip than these odds are going to indicate. So I wouldn't hate anybody for looking at the plus 120 on Montreal here. The only way that I would play this, though, is that you're getting plus money on the under 5.5 and what I think could be another 3-2, 3-1 type of a game. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I really bought into on this game tonight. Not particularly. I'm curious to see if Nikolai Ehlers can continue to play as well as he did. Monster game last game. You look at some of the early struggles that he had in the postseason, no goals, 1 assist, and 10 shots on goal in the first 4 games he played. He's had 4 goals and an assist in the last 5, including, of course, the 2 goals in game 2 and the overtime game winner. If he can keep that up, that's going to be huge for this Carolina Hurricanes moving forward.
If you're not in a circle market, like we said, minus 140, the best number you're going to find on Carolina. You can get a plus 120 out there on Montreal. DraftKings has that for you, as does the Score.
Okay, we got to step aside. Greg Peterson joining us next on the show. We're going to break down some of his favorite bets on the diamond. A couple actually getting underway in the next 10 to 30 minutes. Yankees, Royals, Mets, Reds. We'll preview it all coming back here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Sirius XM Channel 158, Stormy Bonantoni, Matt Brown with you. Excited to break down a little baseball action here on Memorial Day as Greg Peterson joins the program. Greg, how are you today? What's going on, buddy?
Oh, I am doing great. It's Memorial Day. That means that we now know what we're getting in baseball right now. We've got a great sample size and was enjoying the chatter that we were having off air as well. So always appreciate it.
We're a very, very chaotic commercial break show, and we've been saving this for the end of the program. Something we brought up in Call Me Crazy, but our issue with subscriptions. But like, do you have a crazy subscription that you need to go back through the Wells Fargo or the Bank of America statements and just check to see, like, what am I paying for? Because I do, and I have some gripes.
Absolutely not. I will not spend a dime on a subscription that I am not using like every single day. Like, I monitor my credit cards, my bank accounts like a hawk. I am not going to spend a cent that I don't have to.
Greg
Peterson is a real adult, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta learn your ways.
Good for you, Greg. I'm apparently not a real adult.
You're not.
Yes,
I don't believe it for a second.
I'm not a real adult.
Greg, let's get to the baseball here real quickly, because we do have a couple games that are set to get underway in the next 10 to 30 minutes, including Yankees Royals at Kauffman Stadium coming up at 12:40 Pacific. National TV game on ESPN. Aaron Judge breaks the slump yesterday, walks it off against the Rays. Looking ahead to this Kansas City team, though, I didn't realize the history that they have against the Royals. Won 10 straight in the series dating back to 2024. Longest active win streak against a single opponent. Can they keep it going today? Minus 137-ish road favorites.
Yep, you're seeing minus 135, minus 140, and I'm comfortable with that money line. Will Warren has been much better away from home rather than at home as well. You take a look at Will Warren, and he's given up 6 home runs thus far this season. 0 of them have come away from home this season, and for the Royals, it's been interesting to look at this offense because they average 3.04 runs per game away from home. That's a half a run less than any other team in all of baseball away from home. That ascends to about 4.6 runs per game at home. That speaks to just how much Kauffman Stadium is really elevating offense this year because they moved the fences in the offseason. And we know that with the New York Yankees, last week and a half, the offense has been a little bit bare. But I feel like Aaron Judge getting that home run against the Rays yesterday at the back half of the game is going to be able to help them out. I feel like they get online here, and I do like this total to the over. I set my total a little bit north of 9. We were seeing 9. It's now down to an 8.5. So do trust in the Yankees to be able to give you some offense here. Like the over, and I do like the Yankees on the money line.
Greg, we are on the same bet, just bet it differently here. Washington Nationals against the Cleveland Guardians. I'm sure you are going to mention how terrible Zach Littell has been against lefties.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Or just how terrible he is in general. Now, the one thing you want to note, if you're betting this game right now, PJ Poulin is now listed as the starter. Zach Littell is going to be coming in after this. They've been utilizing openers for the last few weeks for Zach Littell. This is nothing to be concerned about. You're still going to be able to fade Zach Littell. PJ Poulin will just do his inning, maybe 2 beforehand. But Zach Littell, a nice hearty 5.87 ERA, and he's lucky to have that 5.87 ERA because his fielding independent is in even higher 7.37. 2.9 home runs per 9 innings allowed while getting 4.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. And surprisingly, the ancillary guys for the Cleveland Guardians have been fine. Like Angel Martinez has given you 9 home runs. You finally have Austin Hedges actually hitting. That's something we haven't seen from him, I feel like, in the history of forever. So that helps out the Guardians. The guys that have really slumped are someone like a Stephen Kwan, who's barely hitting above the Mendoza line of 200. Jose Ramirez has had a little bit of a down season. You expect way more than sub 200 out of Rhys Hoskins at the plate as well. I think these guys are going to be able to pick it up. 8 just feels way too low, especially with the Nationals. They themselves being the team that leads all of baseball in terms of run creation, about 5.3 runs per game. So I like that over. And if you're looking at the run line of the Guardians, it's in the neighborhood about plus 125 or so. I was willing to take that plus money, thinking that they get to Littell to be able to cover that run line.
VSiN host and analyst Greg Peterson joining us here on the Progressive Guest Line. Make sure you check out the Baseball Betting Show wherever you get your podcasts. Also up on VSiN.com every day. He's got his daily write-ups of his favorite plays across Major League Baseball. Let's head over to Reds-Mets. That game's set to get underway in about a half an hour. New York trying to bounce back after getting swept by Miami. Dropped 5 of their last 6 in all. Nolan McLean, I feel bad for him a little bit at this point. Really tough outing last start against the Nationals, but overall the season pretty solid. He's playing great. He'll give up 1-2 runs in the 6th, and then they end up losing 2-1 or 3-1. So how do you see this one today?
Absolutely. He's the new Jacob deGrom. He goes out there, he gives you 6 solid innings, he gives up like 1 run, and the Mets lose 2-1 like almost every time. It's absolutely wild what we've been seeing there, and that's a big reason why I do think that you're going to get a nice low-scoring game here. I'm going to be in on that under of 7.5. Nolan McLean has been great. He's been one of the few non-disappointments for the Mets. He's getting 10.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's giving up less than a home run per 9. Now that the money line has come way down, by the way, we're now down closer to minus 135, minus 140. I am comfortable in this neighborhood on the money line. We were seeing before north of minus 150. I just don't trust in the Mets offense, but you get north of a minus 150 because other than Juan Soto and AJ Ewing, the young guy that they've called up, these two guys have been solid at the plate. Pretty much everyone else, Bo Bichette, Marcus Semien, all those guys just have not been able to do a very good job. So I do feel a little bit comfortable now, especially with the Reds and their downfall in their bullpen. Like through the first month of the season, the Reds actually led all of baseball in terms of bullpen ERA. They are now in the bottom 8. Like, I don't know how things develop, but Tony Santillan has been awful. Graham Ashcraft has been awful. So that's been a big, giant issue. And you've got a Reds team that is really hoping that Nick Lodolo bounces back because he had a nice 2025, has come off the injury list, is posting up over a 6 ERA. Command has been all sorts of wonky. I think that this is going to be a little bit of a bounce back for him, which is why I do like the total to the under. But I do think that for the Mets, they do bounce back, get the job done here. Willing to lay that minus 136 money line.
Greg, last game of the evening here on Memorial Day. You got the Mariners and the A's. You have two different ones here. You got a side and an opinion on the total.
Yep, absolutely. And I do think that the A's get it done here against the Seattle Mariners. Luis Castillo just has not been good this year. Like, I feel like the fall off for Luis Castillo has been harsh, and it has been very, very fast. He's posting up an ERA above a 6, and ever since he's gotten to Seattle, he's had some big-time home and road splits. Now, this is most likely going to be a piggyback situation. Last time Luis Castillo came into a game, he was actually going in a start of Bryce Miller, because with the Seattle Mariners, they weren't expecting Emerson Hancock to have the season that he did. Like, they were just thinking that they were going to throw him back into the bullpen, maybe send him down to the minor leagues because Bryce Miller began the season on the injury list. Emerson Hancock has been too good to pull out of the rotation, so they're sort of wondering what to do here with the duo of Bryce Miller along with Luis Castillo. Last time it was Miller starting and Castillo followed him. I expect it to be Castillo starting and Miller following him. And Miller's actually given up only 2 runs over the course of 11 innings in his 2 appearances thus far this season, but he's also got demonstrative home and road splits. Throughout his career, about a 3.27 home ERA. That goes up to a 4.73 away from him. As we know, Sacramento has really done a good job in terms of elevating offense. And do you think we might see a little bit of regression here for Aaron Savali, a sub 3.35 ERA, fielding independence about a 1.5 higher because he has been giving up the deep ball. Not necessarily too much of a strikeout guy, but as we know for the Seattle Mariners, they're dealing with the injury to Cal Raleigh. They're dealing with the injury to Brendan Donovan. They really haven't gotten a lot of power outside of Luke Raley. So I do think that 10.5 total is a little bit too high here. I do like the under, and with the A's, they're in a relative pick'em game, minus 105 or so. I trusted in them on the money line.
All right, Greg, let's get to the real business here. I was talking to Stormy before this. She's aware of your love for Texas Roadhouse, but unaware of the DM in which you were told that you were going to be sent a gift from Texas Roadhouse, and 3 weeks later, it has not made it to you.
Wait, is this real? They still haven't sent you something?
2 weeks.
2 weeks and
It's 2
change.
weeks, by the way.
2 weeks and change. The Texas Roadhouse has the money to overnight him something if they want to. At
Absolutely.
the very least, 2-day priority or something like that. How has it been over 2 weeks and you have not received your gift?
They are very, very busy people. They are trying to satisfy the nation with really, really great steak dinners. I totally understand. I'm going to be as patient as I need to because Texas Roadhouse, they always provide happiness, and I deserve to give them every opportunity to be able to make things right.
Leave it to Greg to still be the absolute sweetest human on the planet in response to
He won't even
you
say
trying
it.
to get mad.
Who did we look up yesterday? Who's their biggest competitor? Who did we look up? You probably won't even say it online.
You said Longhorn.
Longhorn. We're now Longhorn. This is a Longhorn show. This is a Longhorn Steakhouse show.
Longhorn is like Voldemort. They shall not be named in the presence of the aforementioned Texas Roadhouse. You're awesome, Greg. Thank you so much for the time today, buddy. We appreciate it.
Always appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Greg Peterson, everybody. Again, make sure you go check out the VSiN baseball betting show. Again, our whole podcast network, you can find so many great things there, but it's free and it's awesome. And Greg does a great job each and every day making sure you have what you need there. Reminder, as we talk about baseball season being in full swing, the NHL and NBA postseason underway, the sports calendar never stops. We were even talking about Circa contests and football season on the way. The Sharp Plays is covering it all. They've been winning for 15 straight years, all of it documented. Logs posted publicly at sharpplays.com. Transparency, we know know. Rare in this industry. Nice to see when the sharp plays move, the sportsbooks take notice. They've got advanced AI, trusted insider intel as well, finding value before the numbers shift. Start winning with them over at sharpplays.com. This show has gone by fast. We got to step aside here on Money Moves. When we come back, we will wrap things up with our best bets of the day. And again, a quick dive into this whole subscription madness, because there is one thing that I continue to pay for that I really should probably stop at this point, yet I haven't. And Matt's got an interesting story as well. If you've got any, tweet at us at Matt Brown M2, at Storm Bonantoni. We'll be right back.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
All right, we're wrapping up this Monday edition of Money Moves live from downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Stormy Bonantoni, Matt Brown with you today. And okay, let's finally hash out this subscription thing real fast, because you have a real gripe and we only got about 30 seconds on it, and call me crazy, but.
Yeah, we're just really quickly about like everything needing a subscription. I don't know why whenever you download every single app now from the App Store, it says like, oh, there will be, purchases could happen in this thing. I'm like, what do you mean? It's a calculator. Like, what do I need a subscription to a calculator for? And next thing you know, you're paying 99 cents a month for something you have absolutely no idea why you have to do it. And so then what this did is, unfortunately, had a debit card hack thing going on here, which made me look into, well, what if, what else did they try to get? And that just actually led me down the rabbit hole of all of these subscriptions that I actually have that I had not.
All of these unwanted payments you were still making for things.
So before there were clouds, before there was like Google Drives and all the things like that or whatever, there was a thing called Go to My PC, which would allow you to connect remotely to your home computer from your hotel room. Because again, I used to travel a lot doing all the UFC stuff and all things like that. So I needed that because, I had laptops weren't as advanced back then or whatever. And I had a nice home computer. I have been paying since 2017 for Go to My PC up until last week. $49.99 a month.
A month?
For the last 9 years. For the last 9 years.
Per month.
Yes, per month.
That's
for the last 9 years. Up until last week, in which I had to spend an hour on the phone because obviously I have no idea how I logged in.
Yeah.
There's no way to cancel. I have no whatever. So I have to call them, and they're doing all these different deals to make sure that I'm the person that owns the account and the whatever and all this. But needless to say, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars just lit on fire.
So mine is not that.
Yeah.
But mine, could be adding up to that. For anyone who doesn't know, in addition to what I do here at VSiN, I also do reporting work for ESPN, and specifically college football. There are a lot of, smaller town teams that I will cover throughout the course of the year. And in order to read some of the articles and stuff about certain players and feature stories that you can only really find locally, I will short term subscribe to like a free trial or a $2.99 a month or whatever to XYZ random Lubbock Times or the Wichita Eagle or whatever it is, and those add up over the course of the season, and you get forgetful and you let them go by the wayside that I don't even want to know how many miscellaneous newspaper subscriptions I have. Just let me pay for a solo article, okay? Or I even told you I signed up for a new gym and I've still been paying the old gym. Like I'm just going to go and walk on the treadmill or something like that eventually. But instead I just keep paying or I have the language one, Pimsleur. I have that
was one of the 12 that I canceled last week. 12 different subscriptions that I canceled last week.
Like I learned a new language for a month just to get by on my vacation and then I never see it again, but I'm paying for it every month.
I canceled last
did
month.
want to bring up before we get to the best bets real quickly. We've been keeping tabs on that Jacob Mizorowski start for the Brewers today, and we are seeing some futures markets adjust as we go here.
Yeah, he is 6 innings in, only giving up 2 hits, 1 earned, 10 Ks. And what that has done is he's now plus 350 in the Cy Young market. Paul Skeens out to plus 440. So if you are a Skeens truther, you were getting the best price on Skeens you've seen in quite some time. Chris Sanchez sitting at 2-1. Chris Sale 650. Shohei is at 7-1, and then jumps all the way out to 16 on Chase Burns. And so this stat, we said, this dude's throwing 100 miles an hour every single time he throws the ball. He's striking out 10 of these Cardinals. And with that, you guys who are sitting at home here on a holiday go, hey, this guy's pretty good. He might win the Cy Young Award. And there it is. The bets are coming in down to plus 350.
3-1 right now in the bottom of the 6. Oh, Jason H11, by the way, chimed in. Thanks for being a loyal listener. Jason said paying monthly for cloud storage is a great one. But yeah, just in general. That's So even though you were doing it unbeknownst to you for years and years and years, just having to pay for the cloud storage in general, especially if you're not utilizing it all, is kind of frustrating. Okay.
You made a bet on the break. Usually we talk about bets and we're going to say, you know what, I'm going to make that on the break. And then you get to talk and you get to know that we never actually make them. You did make it, and I decided to kind of donkey trail you. Not like actually trail you, but like donkey trail. Because like I went in because I'm not going to name the book because, you know, whatever. But like you're getting bonuses out there.
Yes.
And like I think that mine got targeted to me because I don't bet the hockey. And they're kind of like, hey.
Well, the fact that you call it the hockey kind of demonstrates
like, hey,
exactly what you're talking
here's a
about
25% bonus on the hockey. Why don't you try the hockey or whatever? And so I'm trying the hockey tonight.
They got you hook, line, and sinker because we're doing it.
Following you, +1.
Okay, hold on. We have to do the recap from the weekend just to update our records real fast. On Friday, I did do a bet on Colorado on the 60-minute line. That's a big lahoo-za-her against the VGKs. They are now up 3-0 in that series. So we'll put that to the wayside. Silly me thought that the Colorado Avalanche game 2 at home weren't going to go over at Ball Arena on home ice.
Down the street again.
At least Carolina was able to respond for their second game. We'll see what they can do tonight. But let's push it forward to tonight in the Carolina-Montreal game. I am not looking to the side. I have just played the total. We mentioned the 5.5 being the DraftKings number earlier, and you could get plus money on that under. But there are plenty of 6s out there as well. I grabbed a 6 at -111. A lot of them are juiced to the under, so do your due diligence to shop around here. But under 6 in what I think should be a lower scoring game. Once again, Carolina, we saw get back to their identity in game 2. Hard checking, hard forecheck, not letting Montreal just fly by in the neutral zone. They're creating turnovers, held Montreal to just 12 shots on goal for that entire game, 8 with 7 minutes left. So a lot of them were just kind of like that desperation. Let's see if we can get something going here. Did not have a single shot in overtime. Freddie Anderson, we know, has been one of the best goaltenders in the postseason, despite what we saw in game 1 of this series. He was rusty in that. Carolina's penalty kill has been really solid as well. So all of this lends toward, ideally, a lower scoring game in Carolina kind of dictating the style of that.
I came in, I did that, but also what I did mention about the 25% bonus thing, it has to be a parlay.
Yes.
Like it can't be just like, I can't just like go in and get 25% on it. It has to be a parlay. So I went with Montreal. Like you said, the price just didn't dictate. So
yes.
So there we did. So that actually
-142 just seems pretty steep in this spot. First game back in Montreal.
So you plop those together with the bonus, and I get a little over 3-1. So
beautiful.
Yeah, a little over 3-1.
Have a little fun with it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Have some fun tonight. I did play. Greg played a different way than me, but we're on the same side here. We both like the Guardians. I'm just going to play them not to bat in the 9th. He has the run line. Zach Littell's the bulk guy that's going to be going the majority of this for Washington. While they've been hitting the ball fairly well, I do not believe that it's going to carry over here against Bybee, and then also Littell is just going to get lit up. This Guardians team has so many switch hitters that they might, if they want to, they can roll out 9 lefties against him. His splits are absolutely atrocious. On the season, a 7.23 ERA backed up by a 9.46 expected against left-handed hitters so far this season. So let's go in, Guardians. Let's go ahead and beat him up.
Okay, last couple minutes, even though no bets firmly for either one of us, do you have a strong opinion in this closeout game attempt for the Knicks tonight in Cleveland?
I did play Donovan Mitchell under 26 and a half. Yeah,
I forgot that was official.
Yeah, I did play Donovan Mitchell under 26 and a half points in that one. It was just a deal for me where you look, and he's not getting there anyway, right? Like he's not getting there as it is anyway. I do believe there's blowout potential in this game, and then I think that there's a real chance that, honestly, our guest that we had on earlier gave it, that this team maybe it's just out of gas, right? And this is just not going to be their best effort here this evening. So you look at this. Over the last 6 playoff games, Donovan Mitchell has reached 27 points one time, including games of 21, 18, and 23, where he didn't even sniff getting there with that. So under 26 and a half for me on Donovan Mitchell.
So I didn't do the math, but both Kelly Bidlin and our producer Justin Emery have sent us text messages about the $50 a month and what that adds up to. Essentially 4 to 5 Circa Survivor entries. That's pretty significant that you're like over $4,000.
Well, I don't have it anymore. I don't have it anymore, people. Okay, I did.
But think about that.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
I know. I didn't know. It wasn't one of the things where I ignored it. I didn't know that it was there. But it took my debit card getting hacked for me to figure out that it was there. That and 11 other subscriptions got canceled in the last week.
Well, I'm proud of you
Yes.
for really showing some
Done
growth
so.
there.
Yeah.
As we were talking about, though, in terms of the spread for this game,
Greg called me a child earlier, by the way.
I mean, so did I.
Yeah.
I think I mostly called you a child.
Greg called me a child. He was like, yeah, like a real adult. And I go, well, I guess I'm not a real adult then, Greg.
I to be honest, I started that. So blame me, not Greg. Greg's an angel. I want him to get that freaking Texas Roadhouse package.
Seriously. I tweeted at him yesterday.
Good.
I did.
Maybe we need to like blow that up. Everybody at VSiN, let's support
Yeah,
our
let's
guy
go.
here.
Come on.
Anything special that you're doing to close out the holiday? I know we had to work up, but I mean, plenty of time to go to the pool, go do something.
You
Any
know,
plans?
I didn't. I got invited nowhere. I have no friends, so I didn't get invited to go anywhere. I'm not doing anything. I guess maybe I'll go hit golf balls by myself.
I mean, that's
just put in my little ear pods and then have like a podcast going that tells me that I actually am somebody and that I am going to be somebody one day. And people do like me actually. That's what I'll do.
Do you know what a kind soul you have? I can just picture that like
there
going
it is.
up.
I know that's what's going on.
Earbud.
Yeah, people do actually like you.
You're so
Yeah,
talented.
that's what I'm going to do.
And nice, and people
Decided.
love you.
I'm in. There we go. Thanks.
You know,
for-
you criticize.
just playing my
Can I
afternoon.
just say you criticize like all of the subscriptions, but like you do have an AI subscription, don't you? That talks to you. That's your friend.
Yeah, I have all the
Okay.
AI subscriptions. Those are worth it. I use those on a daily basis multiple
Well,
times.
I'll be your real friend this
Yeah,
week.
thank
you
you.
for stepping
Appreciate
in.
it.
Matt's going to be with us Monday through Wednesday. That's a wrap for today, but stick around. Coming up after this, Follow the Money with Dustin Sweetelson and John Jastrzemski on the mic.